Hello, Cancers. Welcome to your reading for May 6th through the 12th. I'm really excited for you guys because the sun is currently in your 11th house of social groups and connections, and it is in the third decan for this week. So, as the energy ramps up, we're going to see a lot of shifting in the outer world. And I want to start with Moon Day. Monday is ruled by the moon, and we are going to have that fabulous new moon on Mars Day technically, but the moon will shift into Taurus towards the end of the day of Monday. And what that means for you guys is that every single connection that you've made over the past, sun being at 17, about 2 weeks, you're going to see in the outer world movement. You're going to see some really dynamic projects coming into fruition. Maybe you're getting final touches. Oh, there's a rainbow like right outside. You're getting some final touches on projects that you've been wanting collaboration on, some connections with. I want to look this up exactly. So just looking at Sunday, this with the sun at 16 degrees Taurus, a young girl and boy explore a perfume counter. So Sunday might actually be a really nice moment to take yourself on a date. I've been doing a lot of work with my inner child. So depending on where Cancer is in your chart, you might find that taking your inner child on a date and then also rising above the container of this vessel, this figure, this body, and meeting your divine counterparts. So your divine feminine, your divine masculine. As a child, though, as a seed, what do they need from you on Sunday? Because when Monday rolls in, moon ruled by the moon, it's actually got a touch of Saturn in that energy. That 17-degree sun in Taurus is a pomegranate broken open. So the moon will be finishing up in Aries and then moving into Taurus. So it's going to be shifting from your career element over the weekend into this social space. And what you want to do for the new moon is make some decisions to get public, to go out and meet with friends, with future business alliances. You can even kind of go with the flow of your day. If you're into astrocartography, definitely sitting with the moon line will allow for you on Monday to really work through any final aspects of things that didn't work out for you in the past. If you have some old heartache, it's a great idea to go and be near a body of water and release all of these outdated modes of being. I'm going to see what the angels have to say. The angel cards, and essentially that moon in Aries is going to say maybe what times in your previous careers were you not valued, and what expression of your inner child needs attention. Like what parts of you are calling for some final healing before you're really, it looks like in the past maybe you didn't quite get your voice heard. There was a lot of energy surrounding you. If you have like a particular career that didn't align, you gave everything, you kept giving, you were supportive for people, you answered every demand put upon you, but it probably is not from this life. Like whatever was there wasn't resolved from the past. Your soul's energy just remembers it. And it's carried out through the karma of that feeling being there, and it needs our attention in order for us to really improve the way that we are in the world, the way that we interact with people who really want to help us, and maybe we have some resentments that have been there at the bottom of the bottle, and we need to kind of shake it up. That pomegranate broken open, that to me is a very beautiful image. I'm a big fan of cinema, and there's a film, what's it called? The Color of Pomegranates, and it's on YouTube. It's a Georgian film made in like ancient Russian days, whenever it was all kind of like one geographical area. They were all connected. So I would say within that ancestral tradition, that scope of shamanic practices and pomegranates are the fruit of the underworld. So think about what you have experienced over the winter of this year, basically Capricorn season. So you got to look at that aspect. If it's in your sixth house of work, this is definitely calling on you to heal that energy, because the new moon is going to move you into new alliances, into new connections, into new groups where you can really be seen, you can really be heard. You don't feel like, someone's trying to maybe speak over you, people aren't working around you, you aren't having to compete to be really the forefront and center of what it is that you're bringing in. And now I'd like to move to Mars Day. Tuesday is the new moon, so the moon will be in Taurus. And because you are cardinal water, you guys are the water that shapes the stone. I see the 3 of fire. Let me grab that one. So it's like you get to have this companionship with people who you never thought you would. There is a lot of fire energy for you guys, so there is a lot of passion. I would suggest lighting a candle, setting that on your altar. If you don't yet have an ancestral altar, that might be a great ceremony to do for this new moon, just so that you have a space that you lend your passion to. You speak to your passion. You speak to your inner divine masculine, your inner divine feminine as children, and you really allow for this transmission of emotions that maybe have been suppressed, like your real feelings that no one else needs to hear. You don't have to record any of it. It could just be something that's transmitted to that energy, and you allow for the changes to gradually arrive in your life. Because right now with Mars Day, it's like this energy can come in to settle into a new way, a new manner. So perhaps you say you had a boss who was horrible to you, and you always had this agitation, but you couldn't express it. The way that agitation lives in your system, when you meet it with patience, with a willingness to sit with it, and then Mars on Tuesday will be, give me one moment here. At 5 degrees Aries. So there is going to be a lot of thoughts that need to be met with some structure, with some contemplation, with some patience. So again, this agitation of your boss that you never could get across to, or maybe your best friend who really was not there for you and you never felt met. So there's that disappointment, that ache, and maybe an ex-boyfriend or a girlfriend or partner who never wanted to be exclusive or kept you kind of like chasing the carrot. I see, running your pages like you never really knew what they were saying because it was always kind of unclear to you. Finding that energy settle in a new way, because nothing can be created or destroyed. Essentially, the energy just shifts and transforms. So perhaps you start that altar space. Perhaps you write poetry for yourself. Perhaps you start working with clay. Really get your feelings out, because you need to be with that. You need to be with those emotions, and taking the water that you use for any of these activities. So let's say that you are taking a bath. You take the water and you really sit with it, you work with it, you connect with it in gratitude, because if we treat all of our possessions like we're grateful for them, that's where the real abundance comes in. And I feel that when we really know ourselves, when we go out into the world, there are things that we can focus in on that keep us from interacting with others. Like that boundary, that permeable boundary, only will accept what we're giving to ourselves or higher. Because if someone comes at you crazy on a Mars Day, when you have this beautiful new moon energy, if you're so focused in on your heart, your feelings, finding a new way to where you don't have to lash out, or you don't feel that agitation bubbling to the surface again, you allow for yourself to, let me see, where is Mars again? 5 degrees Aries? Let's look at that. This okay, so it's the statue of a god worn smooth by devotees kissing. It's like, yes, the stone might be growing some moss. It might have overgrown weeds around it, but the love that is reverberating deep within that stone is all compounded from the intention sent towards it, but only with which the stone was willing to accept, because it's like that the stone might appear to be hard and heavy and immovable, but there is a sense of receptivity. So we need to be really aware of what we're receiving, Cancers, as cardinal water energy, with all of this passion, this fire in your 11th house. We're really allowing for the things that we don't need anymore to be transmitted out. So gardening is a good one. Putting everything into the earth, into the soil, planting physical seeds is something that I'm just going to suggest across the board because I'm going to do it. And let's see, into Mercury Day, Wednesday. So I live in the Hawaiian Islands, so I'm about 6 hours behind, but I have my clock set for 5:40 p.m. So depending on where you are, I'm just going to, as much as possible, go by the sun's degree. So that will have us with the sun at 18 degrees, and Mercury will be at 22 degrees Aries. So for my Cancers, this is again in the career sector. Yes, career sector. And I think that if you're dealing with any situations at work that are ongoing, creating that safe space for yourself to really like get still, to know how you're feeling, to know what you need, is going to keep you moving forward. Boom, we have the Chariot, which does speak to victory. It does speak to forward movement. So you move from this really like stuck energy to breaking open and bounding forward. And that is Mercury Day. So 22 degrees Aries is puppets coming alive at night. So with the moon in Taurus, we will have an activation. So you might speak out some things that set you free, and you might be able to really get into the creative force that is almost like Stonewall for anyone who is kind of getting at you. So maybe you have like a cubicle mate who bites their nails, and you speak to their higher self in your ceremony for the new moon, and you say, hey, do that in the bathroom, do that before you get to work, and then you just notice it stops. I would do something and be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for not doing that. Because even if you feel uncomfortable with that kind of energy of like very directly letting someone know how you feel, it creates ripples, because maybe they decided to take time and care for themselves. And then you saying that affirms that they need to have regular self-care. Maybe they get their nails done at a nail salon. They never would have done that before, but because your energy shifts, their energy can shift, which is really, I believe, like the key to transforming our relationships on a day-to-day basis. So set yourself free on the sun at 18 degrees Taurus. And then we have Jupiter Day on Thursday. And that will have Jupiter moving in. Oh, it's still going to be in Taurus at 26 degrees. So that is a Saturnian degree. So with that energy at the start of the week, that 17-degree sun on the new moon, we're going to see, I would say, luck coming from those connections that we're more open to making because we take the time and space for ourselves. That's exciting. So Jupiter, 23 degrees Taurus, 26 degrees Taurus. Grotesque rocks in a sand garden. That really is a beautiful concept to see. There is a tradition in Hawaiian culture to wrap stones with a tea leaf, and that is a ti leaf, a very specific plant that grows here on Maui. But perhaps wherever you are, if you have any rocks, I would say find your favorite leaf or flower, and you can use water, and we never want to throw water down the drain that has been used in ceremony. So it could be something that if you have some water that you're blessing on your altar, anointing your head with and blessing, you can put that on your garden. That might be something really transformative to do on this Jupiter day, just because of the Saturnian energy, which does feel very much like stone. If Cancer is cardinal water that shapes the stone, I would say that Capricorn energy is a stone for this specific call. So I did my weekly readings and someone got the Justice card. I'm not sure who. It felt like water. It felt like you guys, water signs. And it felt like, again, this cup from the weekly reading was able to be balanced, and you have the sword of truth because you've set yourself free and you can communicate these thoughts that were the wands, the 5 of fire. And not only do you have your emotions in check on this Jupiter day, but you have your thoughts very clear, and you're able to speak and liberate yourself because of this 11th house transit. Whew, exciting. And on that net 10 day, Thursday, when this, for you, depending on your time zone, when the sun hits 19 degrees, we are in a place where there are physical creations coming to be, and the moon will be in Gemini. So it's like we might have buzzy, flighty energy that kind of sends us in different directions, and we really have to be focused and work with the energy to ensure that we aren't giving too much energy away. We aren't leaking energy by feeling obligated to do things, and create a way to get out of any obligations that feel burdensome, because I believe that Cancers have a tendency to want to over nurture, and then they have to withdraw. And it's like, if you guys can come to a place where you're very balanced in that need to naturally withdraw, there is electional astrology that speaks to, and parts, so it's like the Arabic astrology that speaks to our best days to do things like socialize and stay in. I would encourage you all to look into some of that. You can cast those charts on astro.com. And I see this, the 9 of Earth. So I would say that moving into Venus day, we want to have taken every effort leading up to the Friday, so on Thursday, Jupiter day, where you have this luck, to really savor it. Be with yourself as you're enjoying what's happening for you, because you really do deserve it, Cancer. Okay, so for Venus day, we have the sun at 20 degrees, and Venus will have reached, where I'm recording today, 13 degrees Taurus, which I believe it's really cute. That's a funny one. A treatise on imaginary creatures. So you might come to find that whoever you've been able to be so amazed by, this person who feels like a unicorn who's coming into your life, and they want to be with you, they want to get to know you, they want to spend their time with you, you guys can actually really come together to make some really solid plans for the future. The sun will have reached 20 degrees, which is protecting our feelings, protecting our passion. And I would say that, again, not everyone can handle such a shifted and aligned Cancer who's really liberating themselves from old emotional holding patterns. So I would say just give yourself more energy, contain your energy, speak to yourself, because I find that I have my Venus in Leo. More is more. We want to make sure that we've taken the time to journal, we've taken the time to talk to ourselves, we've taken the time to energetically align our energy so that we don't feel like we need to chat someone's ear off. We don't have to just feel like we're oversharing with people and not really know how comfortable we are with it until we get into the situation. We want to do everything beforehand to protect ourselves in those social environments so that we can be that permeable membrane, so focused on our own energy and our own selves that we aren't leaking energy. We aren't allowing for toxic energy to come in, because we love ourselves unconditionally and we are claiming that. Let's go. All right, Saturn day. Saturn's moving through Pisces, which for you all is your ninth house. Excuse me, I have a runny nose today. Excusez-moi. Okay, so Saturn will have reached 17 degrees Pisces. So there are reverberations of the Saturnian energy throughout the week for you guys, pulsing any like wounded veins. So any essential connections that felt unhealthy, they felt not fair. And this is Saturday, so hopefully a lot of you Cancers don't have to work. Maybe you could trade shifts to really get into your fluid, watery energy as best you can. So with Saturn at 17 degrees Pisces, that is a kangaroo and her baby who looks out from the mother's pouch. I did speak to this in Water's reading, I'm quite sure. The amniotic sac of the King of Cups, which is, I believe, the epitome of the deck, like once you go through the whole cycle for water, it was overdoing it. So I would say that Saturn Day is a big release. Like you need to deliver to yourself a really deep moment for like gratitude for all of this energy that you've been putting in, and then also really savor this self-care, savor this treatment. I don't mean you got to spend like $300 on yourself buying a course or buying some treatments for your skin or whatever. Those things are fun. They're fabulous. We love those. But the real is allowing for yourself to vent, allowing for yourself to cry, allowing for yourself to hold your inner divine masculine and divine feminine as children. And then you'll see that a lot of energy lightens because you really do believe in your place that's emerging for you in the world. You do believe that, let's see, Saturn, the moon is in Cancer. You really do believe that your belonging is with a state of feeling liberated, feeling heard, feeling witnessed, feeling loved, and feeling like you are in your pocket and you can always just sort of like have this little like treasure for yourself, your own little secrets. And then with the sun, let's look at Sunday. Sun at 22 degrees Taurus. So what else was just there? I guess Uranus moves to 23 degrees. So the sun is going to hit where Uranus has been reverberating for quite a while. And the moon will still be in Cancer. So at 22 degree, I might have already said it. A blindfolded woman who sees the future. Yeah, this feels big because it's just before the Sun-Uranus conjunction. It's like going exactly. It's going to be a big build. So I would say don't be afraid to have a lot of solitary time, because I know that the sun is in your 11th house. Or if anything, gather with people who see the world as you do. Gather with your new alliances. Gather with people who don't make you feel like you can't speak your truth, because on this energy, you really want to make sure that you are honoring your own potential, your own gifts. Pull some tarot cards, go to a cafe that offers that, and be sure that you don't invest in people who feel fake to you. Don't do that, because that feels like self-sabotage, that down the line it's not going to amount to anything. So if you have to go out by yourself and you end up connecting with people, I would say honor those before someone who is just gonna be there, but it's only like that 20% exchange. Like you feel like 80% of you is holding back and 20% of you is allowed to be you and be good at being you, because we want to be good at being ourselves. We are in an 8-year, 2024 is a year for really, I believe, defining who we are. And with Capricorn, that stony energy in your 6th house, it's like you have to remember your power as cardinal water to really shape your environment, being persistent over time. So if you're afraid, again, the silent or solitary, not silent, I want us to activate our voice and really free ourselves. Solitary discussions with our higher self, with our inner children, because we are more than just our gender. We are spirit in physical form. And to ensure that we really feel this justice that we can savor, we do need time with ourselves in our truth, and then open with the sun in your 11th house, open to meeting people who really see you. Have a great week.